Well, this lovely setting in the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. Semi-final, first of the day, Federer against Agassi. Well, a 16,100 seat arena. This.
Roger Federer to serve. Take your seats quickly, please. Thank you.
And Roger Federer to open the match.
Love. 30 love. Federer.
Well, holding serve without dropping the point is the perfect start for the world #1. And it's been, to me, revealing that Federer has been talking very positively this week about all aspects of his game. He's very confident. He is analysing other players. He seems to be determined to take this title.
I think he's enjoying his freedom a little bit, not working with a coach at the moment, so I think he's really sort of flourishing in the role of having to analyse his matches himself, having to really take good care of his game on and off the court, and I think he's playing better tennis because of that. He really is setting the standard at the moment in men's tennis, there's no doubt about it. It's a good test for Agassi today to see whether he can still compete at the highest level.
Well, not the start Agassi really wanted, giving away the first point.
Even though he just missed with the forehand, I think Federer is going to take every opportunity to try and use that wing to hurt Agassi. I think Agassi will try and pepper the Federer backhand.
30-15.
You were saying? Well, there is the man who guides the fortunes of Agassi, Darren Cahill, who used to work with Leighton Hewitt, of course. Comes from Adelaide, like Hewitt.
That's the reason why Agassi needs to keep the ball to the Federer backhand. He was fine until Federer chose to run around and use the forehand. 2 shots later, the point was his.
Well, against his previous opponent, Federer was not very convincing in the early stages against Chela.
Game Agassi. One game.
Sounds ridiculous to say that a man who has a 2-1 win wasn't playing very well, but he wasn't to start with. He was making errors.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the worst set he played in the tournament so far. Lost serve, but then once he did manage to get his nose in front, and then he found the clutch okay, and he ran out a very comfortable winner.
15.
There's a lovely action to serve, you know, so relaxed, effortless. Yet to lose a point on his serve.
Federer leads 2-1.
He leads 2-1. One forgets what a good server he is.
Well, that's going to be the big battle for me, the Federer serve against the Agassi return. Agassi, of course, many people feel is the best returner of serve the game's ever seen. I think in the last 6 months or so, he hasn't really been able to attack, particularly on the second serve, as he was able to do in his heyday. And I think we saw a good example of that in the last game. Federer using the kick serve to good effect, and Agassi struggling with the timing. And he's done that all week, Agassi. He hasn't really hit the ball out of the middle of the racket, particularly on the second serve return, as he would have liked, because in days gone by, that's been the shot that he's really been able to dominate his opponents with. So it's going to be an interesting battle, and I think Federer will be delighted with the way he started in terms of serving, because if Agassi can't get after the second serve, then he's really going to be able to dominate in all aspects of the game.
Point about him enjoying his freedom. I think too much is made of the necessity of having a coach. I mean, there are characters who do benefit and would be far worse without a coach, but certain individuals prefer their independence. McEnroe was one.
Absolutely, and I think with Federer at the moment, what are you going to coach him on? He's playing fantastic. You know, the test's going to come when he goes through a bad patch, and then that's when he might need to be able to have somebody to bounce some ideas off.
Left, 6-6.
Well, for those of you who haven't seen this gentleman play before, he tends to play like a squash player in the middle of a court. He sits in the middle of the baseline and dictates. And what he does, of course, is to force all the time, takes risks by taking the ball very early, won't compromise, won't retreat. And on certain days when the timing isn't right, well, he can make a lot of errors.
That's an excellent point, John, because neither of these players are going to move back behind the baseline when they're faced with a deep shot, so timing is going to be important and confidence is going to be important. Are they going to be able to stand their ground and dominate the opposition?
Game Agassi.
And interestingly, only 2 points have been taken against the server so far, and one of those points Agassi lost was a double fault. There's the sun, very tricky at this time of day for the right-hander at the far end.
Lovely change. Loud 30.
And the same slightly uncertain start from Federer that he made against Chela. Three break points. This is where Agassi will fancy his chance, a second serve.
Game Agassi.
And the very threat of Agassi standing to return really forced the double fault. It's second, and it's 3-2 with the break.
Against the two.
Well, not unlike the Chela situation.
No, and I think it's going to be very important to see if Agassi can make the most of the break of serve. We've seen him break serve numerous times in the tournament so far, but then have his own serve broken almost immediately after. And obviously then that hurts the confidence of the player. So I think for Agassi it's going to be important to get a high percentage of first serves in, as he is doing at the moment, so currently serving at 70%. And if he can maintain this break of serve, I think that'll give him a big boost in confidence. You've got to remember that Agassi hasn't won a tournament for almost a year. So there certainly has to be some question marks in his mind as to whether he can still compete with the very best players in the world. This time last year, in the first 4 months of the year, he was without a doubt the best player in the world. Of course, he won the Australian Open, and he also won titles in San Jose, Miami and Houston. But since then, it's been a veritable drought for the Americans, so much to prove.
Very sensible having a cap on today. So 3-2 is a break of serve. And a lot riding on this next game.
sensible shot from Federer. Going for too much pace on that last forehand, dropping it short with a lot of spin, forcing Agassi to move as much as possible. Doesn't defend perhaps as well as many of the other players, Agassi. Very sensible tennis from the American. Good approach shot. As the lob went up, put his left arm up to shield his eyes, the glare of the sun, and then a sensible shot selection on the smash.
Left for service.
Good hitting from both players. Of course, Agassi was a little bit fortunate towards the end of the rally. He was in control for the vast majority of the time, so perhaps he deserved just a little bit of luck.
Ever the gentleman.
Game Agassi. Agassi leads 4 games to 2.
Well, Agassi's game is very solid at the moment, and Federer's a little erratic. Which is exactly what happened against Chela. Federer was saying yesterday, though, that he realised that the test against Agassi would be his sternest this week, and that he was looking forward to it immensely.
Everybody enjoys winning, but everybody really enjoys being tested and coming through, and I think that's certainly what both of these players are looking forward to in today's encounter.
30 love.
Third ace.
Game Federer.
Bodyline serve. Achieved its objective. Forcing the error. Yugoslava applauding Federer, who is trailing 3-4.
It's a very good service game from Federer, but just struggling a little bit with first serve percentage. 65, very effective when it goes in. He's won 10 of 11 points, so Agassi not getting anywhere near that first serve, but that won't really concern the American. What will is the effectiveness of the second serve return, and he's winning 50% of points, so that's the reason why he finds himself a break to the good, and that's something that he's going to try and continue to employ in terms of tactics. If we have a look at Agassi's first serve percentage, we'll see that it's a very healthy 80%, and it's also very effective. He's only lost 2 points when the first serve's gone in, but perhaps even more crucially, he's winning 67% of points when he's down to his second serve. So Federer not quite doing as good a job when faced with an opportunity as Agassi is.
Now, why has Federer just changed the record?
Well, I think he must feel that it's new balls, 7 games, and he wants a little bit more control, so he goes to a slightly tighter racket.
And Agassi always changes his racket at the change of balls. And one will come out of the cellophane wrap, or the plastic wrapping. There it is, look.
But not all the way. He likes to have a ball girl take it off the end of the racket. Very superstitious.
New balls.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to make the most of those second serve opportunities. Good anticipation. Knew Agassi was going to try and take him wide on the forehand, but he was ready for it. Certainly a shot that isn't working for Federer at all at the moment. The topspin backhand down the line. He does like to use that shot to put his opponent under pressure, but hasn't really found the range with it as yet.
A lot of people in the crowd believed that that was good, but it wasn't. It was well wide.
Very good anticipation from Federer. Again, the ball clipping the top of the net, but this time only just the once. Federer very delicately playing that shot down the line and then holding his ground, crucially, so that when Agassi tried to go cross-court, he was able to move forwards towards the ball, cut it off, and win the point.
Very big point for Federer, this. And the backhand still malfunctioning.
It's often not a bad tactic to slice to Agassi, so Federer might start to think about the possibility of using that whilst the topspin gets mended.
40-30.
Agassi getting the ball back so fast to Federer's forehand, he had to rush it. Rushed into error. A forced error. Well, easily the most competitive rally we've seen in this match, and very good to see this man digging in.
I think winning that point will do Federer the power of good.
Advantage, Agassi.
Ace number one.
Take a seat. 5 games to 3.
So Darren Cahill able to applaud generously there for the way Agassi withstood the challenge from the world number 1. A couple of good serves to finish it off. 3-5.
Fifteen up.
Interesting to see if Agassi makes a real effort here to break or just relies on his own serve in the next game.
14 up.
Well, he may have no choice. 5th ace. And of course Agassi is going to be the nasty end, the sunny end to serve for the set.
Left.
I think he would dearly have liked to have broken for the set for that reason.
Left. 14-15.
Well, it might be careless. Third double fault. Wonderful angle there, with a little flick of the wrist, forcing the error from Agassi and keeping the set very much alive. Agassi will be serving for it at 5-4. Well, this lovely arena built by Charlie Passerelle and his partners in the wastes of the California desert. I mean, it's an extraordinary sight from the air, this Coachella Valley, because it's a huge area with lots of green oases, and they're getting more and more linked, these oases, more and more developed.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was getting a lift from the airport, a lady who had actually emigrated from England in the late 60s and said the place has changed out of all recognition since she's been here, and it's going to continue to do so, I think.
125 golf courses, 5 more under construction, and each one requiring $1 million of water a day to be kept green. And all the water comes from the Colorado River, which feeds down into an underground reservoir. Well, a lot of youngsters have come this week. The families make it an outing. And Charlie Passerelle was telling me that about 65% of all the people who come to this tournament come from outside the area. So they travel miles. A lot of people make Indian Wells their site for a holiday to watch the tennis. And why not? The Pacific Life Open presenting the very best. Agassi serving for the set. Well, the backhand it is that has been a little bit errant. Yes, just out. Good call. Another backhand one, and Federer looks appealingly towards last graph in the chair, but there will be no overrule. 40 love and 3 set points. There it goes. To the delight of this huge crowd and of Darren Cahill, in just half an hour, Andre Agassi takes the opening set 6-4.
Excellent set of tennis as far as Agassi's concerned, and it's all really about the amount of unforced errors that either player has hit. It's always good to get the balance right between the amount of winners and unforced errors. Can you hit the ball well enough to put your opponent under pressure without giving away too many free points? And Agassi was able to do that perfectly in the opening set. Only 4 winners, but look at that, just 2 unforced errors. And when you're playing against somebody of the caliber of Roger Federer, then that is outstanding. Federer, on the other hand, way too many unforced errors, 12 in total, although he was trying to force the play a little bit more, and as a consequence of that, had more winning shots. Served pretty well, Federer, but Agassi will be absolutely delighted if he can keep his first serve percentage on or around 75. And if he can continue to play as well as he did in that opening set, he's got an excellent opportunity of getting one of the best victories he enjoyed for a number of months.
Well, this is how the set ended. Determination written in every feature of Agassi's face. Concentrating. Eye on the ball. And it was good enough. Well, Cahill looking very relaxed today. And well he might, because Agassi has hardly put a foot wrong. At the age of 33, still playing marvellously well. Well, of course, there's also with the crowd the Agassi factor. They get so excited whenever he's on court that poor old Federer has got, it's a bit like a Davis Cup time for him.
But I don't think you really mind that, even when the crowd are against you, as long as there is a good atmosphere. And I think all players enjoy playing on court when that's the case. But I think Agassi really has come into this match with renewed vigour and a much better attitude than we saw in the first few matches of this event, because he knows this is a severe test of his ability to be able to compete with the best players in the world still. And in the first set, I think he's proved that he still can.
No question about that. What about the second? Here it is.
Lovely change.
Well, this is offering a huge challenge to Federer now. The world number one has got to take action, has got to do something positive to unsettle Agassi's rhythm. And the start would be, of course, to get a lot of first serves in, as you were saying. 72% was very respectable in the first set, but it still wasn't good enough. I just don't know how he's going to cope with the heat. Agassi loves the heat. Federer, well, I'm not so sure that he does.
40-30.
More pressing is the fact of trying to deal with the Agassi return of the second serve, because he's winning so few points, only 38% at the moment, Federer, when he's down to his second delivery.
Doing what he did in the opening set.
First game, second set.
Getting off to a good start with a hold.
It's an interesting point you make. What's Federer going to do in this second set to try and get back into the match? I think Agassi is playing somewhere near his best tennis. If he can maintain that level, it's up to Federer to do something about it. Now, of course, he's one of the few players that can pretty much do anything on the court. So is he going to try and come into the net a little bit more? Is he going to try and disrupt Agassi's rhythm by using the slice backhand a little bit more? Particularly as the topspin backhand doesn't seem to be working very well. So it's going to be very interesting indeed to see what tactical options he chooses in order to try and get back into the match.
Love 15.
Good stuff from Agassi, because he's able to trade ground strokes with Federer, and then once the ball clips the top of the net, Federer just moving to his left slightly too early, and Agassi seeing that out of the corner of his eye and choosing to go cross-court with the last shot.
Andre was so convinced that that was an ace. Well, Federer thus far in this second set, in this very early days, but thus far has cut out the unforced errors. Always has the ball boys and ball girls in their correct stations. Won't let them wander. Ah.
14.
Agassi overhitting and giving Federer his first chance for a break. Yes, he's got it. Come on, he says to himself. Yugoslava there, absolutely relieved, I think, to see at last a break of the Agassi serve. Two love.
Interesting to see what the response is going to be like from Agassi. Gifting the initiative to his opponent early on in this second set would be exactly what he didn't want to do.
When Federer won their last but one meeting in the round robin section of the Tennis Masters Cup, he lost the first set then. But it was on a tie-break, this time rather more easily.
A lovely combination there from Federer, and it's a tactic that is very useful indeed if you can employ it against Agassi, because Agassi does tend to move pretty laterally, and once he gets moving in one direction, doesn't often turn very effectively.
He hasn't been able to establish any dominance yet, Federer.
Oh
yes, that's better. Federer beginning now to relax, one feels that seventh ace helping him to a 3-love lead, second set.
It's been a nice change-up really from Federer. He's cut out his unforced errors. That was what were hurting him in the first set. Made 12 in total. He's only made 3 in the first 3 games of this second set. Agassi has made more unforced errors in this second set than he did in the whole of the first. So it's what we talked about, trying to get the balance right between hitting the ball hard enough to put your opponent under pressure, but not doing too much that you're forced into error and you give away a lot of free points. And I think that's something that all good players realize about their own game when they need to tighten up. It's just a case of whether they can or not. Federer certainly has been able to do just that. So for Agassi here, much to ponder. Of course, it's imperative for him to hold this next service game to try and keep within touching distance of Federer. Otherwise, Federer is likely to build up quite a head of steam. And it's very, very difficult indeed to compete with the best in the world when they've got momentum on their side.
So there we are, the scoreline, which offers at least hope for the fans of the world number one. Not a cloud to be seen. There were some clouds about yesterday, but not today. Back to normal. Love 3. Not so far out, my word.
15 love.
Gasps from the crowd.
But interesting that he's now choosing to try and use the forehand a little bit more than he was in the first set.
So different from the 16-year-old who emerged on the scene from the Bollettieri Academy all those years ago.
Federer leads 3-1.
And it was this tournament that launched Agassi's career. Not played here then, of course, but it was this same week of the year. (3-1).
15 love.
Yes, I think a bit of backhand practice for him after this match. Wonder if he'll the coach in him will persuade him that he needs to do that.
Really starting to cost Federer now, the backhand. No winners as yet from that wing, but 8 unforced errors in total now.
Agassi will be annoyed about missing that. He's done it again.
40.
Identical error for the first point. And he missed. And listen to this crowd. Their man with a break point. Just the moment for a good first serve. Come on, Hewitt style from Federer.
Well, it was a good first volley. Agassi had plenty of time though to get set, but the anticipation was the key from Federer. The feeling that Agassi was going to try and pass down the line, and once he'd attempted to do just that, left the cross-court volley on for the Swiss.
Well played, Agassi got it so deep. Federer forced to rush the little half volley. Didn't have time to move out of the way. There's Philip Agassi. In the dark glasses. Distinct family resemblance, isn't there? Well, this very hotly disputed game is so important to both men. Federer to consolidate his lead, Agassi to break back.
Game, Federer.
And Federer consolidates his lead. At least his serve and forehand going well. 4-1. Second set.
Well, that's good stuff as far as Federer's concerned, managing to hold serve. And I think if we have a look at the service direction of both players, we can see that there is slightly different tactics being used. Federer, of course, is trying to mix things up as much as possible. So you can see in both the service boxes there, the balls are pretty much spread. There's a lot of serves out wide. The aces, of course, are very near the lines. And then on the second serve, he's perhaps not getting the accuracy that he would like. And that's why the ball on the left-hand side of your screen, they're dropping a little bit short. Agassi able to move up the court and take the ball on. And that's why the Americans having a lot of success, or did in particular in the first set. Now, I think if we have a look at the opponent's serve direction, Agassi's, will see that the accuracy is excellent. And on the left-hand side of your screen, the vast majority of serves, all bar one, going to the Federer backhand. And that's because Federer has been having a lot of problems with that shot in the match to date.
Always attending to the details of his attire. You see him change his shirt when necessary. He's got his cap drying out.
Time.
Sweating profusely today with near 100-degree temperatures. Quite a buzz around this stadium now, because it looks as if we're heading towards a final set, and they'd all love that. He wouldn't. 1-4. When they changed ends, that Federer walked very slowly to the chair. I don't know whether he was just conserving energy or whether he's sort of feeling the heat.
40 love.
Well, he must be feeling the heat. Everybody would feel the heat. It's excruciatingly hot down there.
Game Agassi. Federer leads 3-2. New balls, please.
Cheers from the Agassi supporters as he draws level. Oh, doesn't draw level, excuse him, but holds serve. He's still 2-4 down.
It's important for Agassi to hold serve, because every opportunity he gets to return obviously increases his chances of getting a break of serve. Because the new balls are out, so is a new Agassi racket.
Forward. Get the plastic. Left.
15-11. Nice combination. Again, the serve out wide. Agassi having to move to his left in order to cover the open court. Federer just holding his shot off and giving him enough time to play back behind the American.
His fourth. Grunt of dismay from Agassi, annoyed with himself there. Should have made Federer play the ball, he thinks. Well, it does now very much look as if we'll have a final set. Federer 5-2, though it is just one break.
Both players have played some of the best tennis when they've been in front in this match, and we said at the beginning of the match match that it's going to be very important to try and gain the initiative, and so it's proved in both of the sets so far. So if Federer does manage to level matters, the start of the third set is going to be all important. Of course, the players realise that sometimes when you've won the second set, you can continue the momentum into the third, and on other occasions it's difficult to maintain the level of concentration and focus. And I think that's what happened to Agassi at the beginning of this second set. Obviously delighted with it wrapping up the opening one. I don't think he was just able to maintain his concentration and focus at the very beginning of this second set, and it's cost him dear.
Well, it's amazing how well he plays in the heat, and he does. I think of the way he plays in Miami, where it's even hotter because of the humidity there, or not even hotter, but even more uncomfortable because of the humidity.
I think one of the reasons why he does play well in the heat is because more often than not, he's the one dominating the rallies. He's very efficient at the back of the court, doesn't expend any unnecessary energy. His serve is very compact, his ground strokes technically is superb. He doesn't tend to get behind in rallies and have to stay in the rallies very much with his opponents. Doesn't do too much running because he's always dictating. The rallies tend to be relatively short if he can help it.
Well, the loss of this serve for the set would be rather serious, because Federer, serving first in the final, if it gets close, will always have the advantage. That
15-all.
Just what he needed. Only a second.
Nice combination again. The first serve was very accurate indeed. Federer not able to get good enough length on the return, and Agassi taking full advantage.
Flat.
First serve there.
14-18.
Oh, and he was lucky. That was going to be a nasty return.
Just trying to mix things up by serving to the Federer forehand. More often than not, Agassi has chosen to serve out wide to the backhand.
Game Agassi.
Well, that backhand of Federer today is a sorry picture.
Federer leads 5 games to 3.
Agassi doing everything that anybody can ask of him, holding serve, putting the pressure on Federer, asking him the question, and you're able to serve out for the set. Never easy.
Fortunately for him, he's going quite beautifully.
Return of serve not good enough from Agassi. Tried to give himself room so he could use the forehand, but wasn't able to get enough length or pace on the return.
What a return of serve, the best today, I think, that.
Well, length and pace, we were talking about the point earlier. Agassi able to combine those two elements here very effectively indeed.
15-30.
Well, for Agassi, it's a very simple thing. Keep the ball to the backhand and hope for errors, and it's brought a hatful of points.
30 off.
Sensible tennis from Federer on that occasion. Only 117 miles an hour, so taking a little bit of pace off the ball, adding a bit of spin to give himself a little bit better chance of making the shot.
No.
30-14.
It's the backhand again. Let's let him down. What a great serve, which was the impetus he needed to be able to hit two good forehands. That's the way to save dangerous situations.
Advantage Federer.
A little stamp of determination from Federer there. He knows this is a must-win point. It's set point. Yes, there it is. Well played, Federer. Using the slice sensibly to keep the ball going. And Agassi finally missing. So 6-3 for Federer after an hour and 2 minutes of play. Well, what a good set that was. And Federer still playing poorly for him, but finding a way.
Exactly, doing enough to get the right result. And I think if we have a look, compared to the first set, he has made more unforced errors than winners. Federer 11-9, but there's less of a discrepancy between those two figures. And crucially, only had one opportunity to break point, but managed to make the most of that. Serving not quite as well as he did in the opening set, so that's something that he wants to try and improve in this deciding set, whereas Agassi is continuing to play pretty well, but just made a couple more unforced errors, but crucially didn't take advantage of his two breakpoint opportunities. So I think the scene is set for a very interesting deciding set.
Well, it certainly is, and it all depends on the quality of Federer's backhand. Here are some of his forehand winners from the second set. This was the set point when the slice backhand was an essential part of keeping the ball going. A couple of them, there they were. Agassi trying to force, but Federer getting the back as deeply as he can, and then he risks a drive backhand with topspin. And at last he hits one in, and he hadn't hit too many in the match, and Agassi obliges by missing the ball down the sideline. Well, this is a fascinating situation.
Final set, Agassi to serve.
So here we are, all set for the grandstand finish. The final set.
Quickly, please. Thank you.
The final set between two of the finest players it's ever been my pleasure to watch. Agassi to serve.
Well, I like that tactic from Federer. I think it's a good one that he's got to try and use to break up Agassi's rhythm, even though it wasn't successful on that occasion. At least it will give the Americans something to think about.
He served actually quite well today, hasn't he, Agassi? That double fault is second. Not desperately serious, I suppose, at this early stage. Jason, the worrying thing to me from Agassi's point of view is that he knows, we all know, that Federer can only get better.
And I think we've seen just a subtle change in tactics from Federer now, starting to use the slice backhand a little bit more, and that's hurting Agassi, and he'll certainly be aware of that point, John.
I wonder if he'll go for a slightly tighter racket, because he's been spraying them long, all these backhands. Well, you're right, there is a subtle change. He's playing himself in with the slice and then waiting for the right ball to hit the topspin, whereas earlier, on balls that perhaps he should have sliced, he was trying to force and making errors.
Trouble with the slice backhand in these conditions where the ball does travel through the air a little bit quicker is you've got to play an aggressive shot. You've got to hold the ball on the strings for as long as you can and put enough spin on the ball to be able to get to control it. If you just float the shot, it does tend to go deep of the baseline.
Forced an error by being there.
He got fortunate to get away with that. Agassi, in my book, didn't do enough with the initial drive volley, having put Federer under pressure with the forehand inside out. Federer had plenty of time to get set, choose to go down the line, but just wasn't able to execute, just hitting the ball a little bit too late and forcing the ball wide of the single sideline.
No, it's long.
Cheers.
Just overhit it.
Don't need the depth on that kind of shot. Just need to add a little bit of spin, beating your opponent for direction, and then hopefully setting yourself up for a relatively simple volley.
Advantage, Agassi.
And this match very subtly is changing momentum.
Becoming a lot more difficult for Agassi to cut out his unforced errors. He's trying to force Federer, get him moving, but it means that he's having to go closer and closer to the lines. And therefore he's missing a little bit more than he was earlier.
Advantage, Agassi.
I'm surprised he didn't slice the return.
Tried to give himself a little bit more time there by stepping back behind the baseline. Still getting nowhere near the feel he would like when attempting to play a topspin shot off that wing.
Well, this has become such an important game now. The crowd trying to get behind him. He's fretting a little bit here with Agassi now, trying to get this game over, getting a little frustrated. Second break point. When he's missed the shot he was waiting all game to play.
Federer had worked so hard to find himself in an excellent position to be able to put Agassi under pressure. Amazing, really, that he would miss such a simple shot. But both players now making a hatful of unforced errors. The pressure really starting to tell. They both know how important this game is.
Well, of the 15 points played in this set, all but one have been unforced errors. Extraordinary. That is the pressure that they are both feeling. This is a third chance to break.
Cheers.
Well said. Agassi knows what toll this is taking on the reserves of energy.
Advantage, Agassi.
So after 6 deuces and 3 break points saved, Agassi again with a chance to hold. Well, he didn't get his feet right at all.
Never looked comfortable. He played the rally exceptionally well. He got the short ball. The length on the approach was absolutely superb. The execution of the smash was very, very poor. Always off balance, head all over the place. Sensibly letting this one bounce. Again, it was a good approach, forcing Federer to play defensively, but had a lot more time to get his feet set and get in the right position to be able to play this shot.
Well, the crowd here absolutely into this match now. And after a game
final set,
which lasted more than 11 minutes and contained 4 break points. Excuse me, 3 break points. Agassi finally survives.
Well, it was a very important game, goes without saying. Both players would have loved to have got off to a good start in this deciding set, but I think it was absolutely vital for Agassi to hold serve, having dropped the second set. And I think it is going to now start to be a question of the physical capabilities of both players in the heat as this third set starts to go long. Federer now got to respond and try and clear his mind of the opportunities he had in that opening game and of the amount of unforced errors that he made on crucial points. Both players not really hitting the ball very cleanly. Federer did well to set the point up, but the approach shot was mistimed, but fortunately it fell just inside the baseline.
Well, the trusty forehand doing its work.
Taking the ball on the rise, up at shoulder height, and forcing the ball short from the American, which was dealt with very comfortably.
Quelle délicatesse.
40 love.
First backhand winner for Federer, incredibly. 14 unforced errors to counter that.
Game, Federer.
Oh, yes. Well, poor Agassi, he had that long 11.5-minute game, and he's back serving before he knows it. So often the way.
And it can be very difficult to counter, because having won that opening game, there is inevitably a huge feeling of relief, and that if you don't maintain your concentration and focus, then things can change very quickly indeed. Full marks to Federer, managing to maintain his concentration and hold serve.
Lovely change.
Well, the irritation was showing there, wasn't it?
15 all.
Federer trying to remain cool and taking his time with the towel.
You
know, Federer reminds me a little bit of Sampras with his backhand. Some days when the backhand wasn't working with the great man, he would be mishitting quite a lot of them and not getting good enough length on them. But the forehand was usually secure, as it is today with Federer. Of course, talking of Sampras just now, it was Sampras who was the victim of Agassi in the final here in 2001. Still the backhand is errant. But stubborn man that he is, Federer refuses to compromise, goes on trying to hit it, hoping that it will start coming good. And to the cheers of this mainly American crowd, Andre Agassi takes a 2-1 lead. Final set. Well, what a battle this has become. And we thought before the match began that the standard would be high. And it isn't actually as high as we had hoped, in that the pressure from both is producing too many unforced errors.
Well, that's always the thing, isn't it? When Agassi and Federer come together on the court, you expect a fantastic match, but both players have made a lot of unforced errors. Agassi certainly didn't start the match making many, but towards the latter stage of the second set, particularly the beginning of this third, now a total of 18, is becoming a little bit unhealthy. 8 of those off the forehand, and that's the shot that he would like to use more often than not to put Federer under pressure. And I think if you have a look at Federer's unforced errors, you can look 15 in total on the backhand. He's only hit 1 winner off that wing, so almost half of the 32 unforced errors coming off that side. So that's certainly something that he will want to address if possible, but he has started to use the slice more, which is a higher percentage shot on that wing.
Yes, that must be worrying for him, the inconsistency on that backhand side when he's trying to force.
I think what he's got to try and do, and what he has certainly tried to do at the beginning of this third set, is not really use that side to force. Use the forehand, use the serve, use the slice on the backhand to try and stay in the rally and possibly outmaneuver Agassi.
One, two, no breaks.
Again, Federer just content to stay in the rally with the backhand, which I think is sensible, and then using excellent footwork to get around and use the forehand as much as he can from the back of the court.
No, he's missed.
I think it was a mistake for Agassi to try and attempt the drop shot. He had control of the rally. He did an exceptional lob over the backhand side of Federer, and then he had outmaneuvered the Swiss with the short angle backhand, but Federer was always going to make the distance, and once he was at the net, then it was going to prove very difficult to pass him.
The backhand's coming good. Well, it was there at least. Nice and short this time. A lot easier than some of the backhands he's had to play. 2-all.
I think that's an important point, John. Sure, go with that backhand down the line. When you've got your feet in the right position, you've been able to move up the court. Agassi's returned the ball short, and you've got plenty of time to execute the shot, but don't try it when you're under pressure behind the baseline, and you've had to move 2 or 3 steps before you unload on the shot, because that's great when you're playing well. And by all means, you can do anything really, Federer, when he's at the top of his game, but today that certainly isn't the case. So you've got to fine-tune your game plan slightly, and I think he's done that well in this third set.
Federer playing with a fresh racket.
Love it, change.
Another of those desperately close ones, which was correctly called.
Nowhere near making that shot. That was halfway up the net. I'd much prefer to see Federer take a couple of steps to his left and perhaps use the forehand inside out.
Or even slice and come in. He's a lovely volleyer.
A little short angle cross would have given Agassi a lot of distance to cover in order to stay in the rally.
I think it is the stubbornness in him that he's determined to show that my backhand, there's nothing wrong with my backhand, I can hit it if I want to. Well. That could be a very expensive miss. He won't compromise, will he?
The footwork there was very poor, taking just a big lunge with the left leg to try and make the distance. It was a good kick serve from Agassi, mind. You always got to try and attempt to get your opponent moving, but the slice would have been a much better option for Federer.
Well, Federer must heed this. Agassi is ready to lose this game. He's made 3 silly unforced errors, silly by his standards. He's got a break point, and he mustn't be too stubborn on the backhand. No, the stubbornness returns. He hit the slice return, and I was thinking, well played, learnt the lesson, but no, goes for the big one down the line and misses.
Advantage Agassi.
He survived the break point so far. Nail-biting time for Cahill. He survived the 3 break points in the first game of the set, another in this. What a terrific game that was. And small wonder that Agassi clenches his fist in triumph. He's 3-2.
Agassi leads 3 games to 2. The ball's up here.
Well, it was a huge game as far as Agassi was concerned. He'll be absolutely delighted he was able to win it in such an emphatic fashion, because he certainly had to battle hard to hold serve in this deciding set. And one feels that if Federer does compromise on the backhand side and does get the break of serve, then the match would be all but over. But as long as Agassi can continue to hold serve, then he's got an excellent chance of winning the match. Under a lot of pressure, doesn't perhaps defend as well in terms of movement as the opposition.
Fine.
Oh, there's the little clenched fist. Triumph that despite the break point, he is 3-2.
The one was clearly out, and I was close.
Well, what a lovely setting this is, and quite a buzz around the stadium now. People really excited by the quality of play here we're seeing. All part of the record crowds that have been thronging here this year. The time building up nicely. Look at that, the temperature, 106. I thought it felt a little hotter today. Well, it was 108 on Sunday, and it's about 108 again now, nearly. And they want to see, most of them want to see Agassi break here. What a second serve that was. 106 mph. Clean sheet on serve this set. Still 11 points in a row.
Nice combination. Good, deep, accurate serve, and then a very aggressive forehand. It's with a lot of topspin on that side.
Game, Federer. 3 games all. New balls, please.
And a perfect record, 12 points, 3 games on serve. Well, so often when you're going to have a change of balls, Andre will change his racket. So often when a player has been winning his serve so easily, suddenly come to a moment when he has to struggle and boom, it's gone. I wonder if that'll happen today. But Agassi, on the other hand, has been struggling mightily. That 11.5-minute game that opened this set contained 3 breaks. Then there was another one in the last service game. The ritual of the racket bag being maintained there.
Certainly is having to work hard. 34 points on his serve in this set, just 18 on the Federer.
The new balls.
Federer employing a tactic that he hasn't used very much in the match, but I still think it's a good one. Keeps Agassi guessing, but the Swiss just a little bit guilty of covering the middle of the court.
Change of pace from Federer.
15 all.
Acceleration of the racket head, forcing Agassi to rush. Well, Philip, I must say, carries the features of the Agassi family, but he's looking rather red to me. I hope he's got his sunscreen on.
30-15.
Well, it was a good return of serve from Federer, and Agassi really from that position can only go one way. It has to go down the line because he's hitting the ball so late, because he's under such a huge amount of pressure. So Federer really should have followed the line of the ball, but still an extremely good shot from Agassi under pressure.
Look out, Agassi, don't let him hit too many forehands.
40.
Federer flashes the air with his racket in frustration. Agassi takes a 4-3 lead. Difficult to say at this point who might win. Agassi's had all the problems on his serve, but as I was saying just now, with Federer holding 3 serves to love, I would be a little bit nervous for him in this next game.
It often happens where you've held serve very comfortably, and suddenly when you're tested for the first time, more often than not, it can result in a break of serve. For Agassi, although he has had to work hard, I'm sure the only thing that he'll be thinking about is the fact that he's managed to hold serve. That's the important factor. Of course, he's serving first in this deciding set, which means if he can get one of the first 2 points and put Federer under a little bit of pressure, then it could prove very telling indeed.
Well, he's maintained an amazing level of consistency today. Just drying off his cap. Well, now Federer must steel himself here.
Time.
He's looked pretty relaxed the whole match. A bit too relaxed on the backhand. He's just been flailing away and missing. And I think you'd have to say that at this very moment, Agassi probably the slight favourite.
Given the fact that he is in the lead, if you can get Federer to miss a couple of first serves, certainly at 75% at the moment. If you can get a look at a couple of second serves, Agassi, he'll fancy his chances.
3-4. Trusty forehand lets him down. That's serious. The first point is lost on his serve in this
Lovely
set.
team.
Small margins.
It's a cheap error. You've got to look at the second serve. He got the first point of the game, and he'll be absolutely disgusted with his inability to be able to take advantage of that opportunity.
My word. Just a bit of extra sting. 100 miles an hour. And well directed.
Nice disguise from Agassi here, really thinking under pressure. It was good length on the first forehand, and then Federer expecting that shot to go cross court, but Agassi able to just creep it down the line.
So the biggest point of the match here so far, 3-4, 30 all.
Another
beautiful kick serve. Agassi reaching for it, can't control it on the racket face.
It's tough for those watching.
Well, I was wondering when we were going to see one of those. He served 5 now. Small wonder with the pressure. First time he's struggled on his serve this serve. Well, Federer looking hard at the baseline out of your picture there.
Shot was true.
Agassi.
It was an aggressive one, but it definitely caught the line.
So here, as the noise from this vast crowd will tell you, this is a break point, a virtual match point. Well, brilliant play from the Wimbledon champion. Not compromising one iota.
Let for 6.
Well, the shot selection here was appalling from Federer. Initially, he did the right thing to try and get around and use the forehand, but he was so deep and wide in the court to try and go down the line there was suicidal.
For the second time, it's break point. Well, what a magnificent rally.
One of the best of the set as far as Federer is concerned. His length was impeccable. He was hitting such a heavy ball on the forehand. That generates a lot of spin, and that's what enables him to be able to play aggressively and get enough control over the ball to bring it inside the line.
And that was all about character and self-belief. Well, he'll be kicking himself, Andre. Another look at the second serve. The first serve percentage has slumped dramatically. Federer now at 52% only of first serves in this set. But he's held.
4-game all.
Well, that may be the one that got away. For the first time in this set, Federer had to struggle. Remember, he served the double fault when he was 40-30. Twice he was break point down, but he has held. 4-all. Well, it wouldn't surprise me to see a break of serve right here now after that reprieve from Federer. Agassi's turn to serve the double, his fourth. Well, the double fault didn't affect his confidence or belief. Well, Federer thinks he won that point twice. The ball was out down the sideline, he felt, but he had to play on.
Fantastic stuff from Agassi, but didn't do enough with the forehand volley, and Federer never giving the point up, finishing it in some style.
Backhand is starting to come good. 3 topspin backhands in a row, all in. The last one perfect in length, forcing the error. Well, how often do we say that the great players will find a way?
Federer has employed that tactic earlier in the match, but sparingly and not very effectively, but on a big point, plays it superbly.
Break point. There it goes. And my hunch was right. The break has come despite 40-15. And in a moment, Federer will be serving for the match at 5-4. Well, it was that shot that you mentioned, the volley that, or the approach rather, that he hit and didn't do enough with.
You're going to look back on that as the one that cost him the match, because he played well to stay in this set, but you have to give full marks to Federer as well. He was under pressure in his service game the game before, responded well, and then, as you said, John, felt that it might be an opportune time to manage to manufacture a break of serve, and that's exactly what happened. So neither player have played nowhere near their best tennis, but we've certainly seen a lot of character on court this afternoon.
Well, in the shadows there, Federer will emerge into the strong sunlight to serve for the match in just a moment. And the relentless sunshine beating down on this scene. Federer serving for the match. Well, Agassi has fought so strongly. Remember the first game of this set, the one that lasted 11.5 minutes. There were 3 break points. There was another in the 5th game.
But
the single break point in the 9th game was enough for Federer, who now has this match within his grasp. 2 points away. And a majestic ace, the slider out wide for ace number 10, and 3 match points.
Game, set, and match.
And what a finish!
Federer wins by 2 sets to 1. 4-6, 6-3, 6-4.
Well, he can look back with satisfaction on finding a way. A smiling Federer, the world #1, triumphing in the end by finding a way of putting together the right shots at the right time when he wasn't really playing very well. But his 4-6, 6-3, 6-4 victory in an hour and 52 minutes takes him to the final here for the first time.
Disappointment for the departing Agassi. Wasn't able to play his best tennis for the duration of the match. He had his opportunities, didn't take them. And I think now we'll be starting to feel his age when he takes to the court with Roger Federer, because without a doubt, world #1 does find a way to win when he doesn't play his best tennis more often than not. Just the 1 match drop this year so far, and he responded very well to adversity, particularly in the 3rd set.
Well, it was a lovely contest simply because they were both making quite a lot of unforced errors under the pressure they both felt.
I think if we have a look at the statistics that will bear that out, way too many unforced errors. Look at that, 36 in total from Federer, many of those coming in the 3rd set. And for Agassi, 23, many of those coming in the deciding set. So that's really what cost Agassi, and both players making too many for it to be called a classic contest in terms of the quality of tennis that we were watching, but it was certainly very exciting. But Agassi will kick himself because he was only able to take advantage of 1 of 6 break points, and when returning serve you would expect Agassi to post better statistics than that. But it was a very exciting contest, and I think Federer will be relieved to move through to tomorrow's final.
And a wonderful, wonderful exhibition of finding a way, I would call it, when you're not playing at your best. Let's sit back now and enjoy some of the highlights from the match.